I'd like to call this video credit where it is due. I've spoken about things where Bungie has fallen short and missed the mark where I feel like they shouldn't have, but alas, today is a day where I suck Bungie's dick a little and discuss some things that they have done right. Today, we are starting with Titan Sentinel, but don't worry, a video on your favorite subclass is coming. It's just fitting to start with Sentinel Titan because the Titan class has been a heavy topic of debate approaching Lightfall. So, let's get into some Void Titan shit. Some of it will be controversial, but I'm sure most of you will agree with me. Sentinel Titan has to be the most solidified power fantasy that the Titan has ever had. Finally, for the first time since D1, the Titan truly feels like the frontline warrior. Tanky as shit with overshields and health regen on melee kill. My only gripe is the melee focus part of the subclass, but we'll come back to that later. Bastion. Casting your barricade grants overshield to yourself and nearby allies and empowers it, enabling it to slowly regenerate the overshield of allies bunkering behind it and extend the overshield duration. The perfect aspect for a Titan. 10 out of 10, nothing wrong with it. It's the physical embodiment of a Titan, and I'm surprised it took them this long to do it, but I'm glad they did. Offensive Bulwark. While you have an overshield or are inside Ward of Dawn, your grenade charges significantly faster. You have increased melee range and damage, and melee final blows extend the duration of your overshield. You get an additional shield throw while in Sentinel Shield. A great aspect. It gives incentive to keep overshield procced for as long as possible and as often as possible. Melee kills extend the duration of overshield. Excellent. My only issue, which is going to be my issue for all melee aspects for the Titan class, is the fact that melees in higher end content are pretty much useless. PvE enemies hit harder than you do and they take less damage. I've spoken so much already about how the Titan class is more than a punching class and it deserves better. Well, if Bungie feels hell-bent on pigeonholing Titans into only being a melee focused class, in that case, the Titan class needs a flat 25% or so bump in melee damage across the board at base. Maybe 25% is too much, but maybe 15%. So when you have aspects like this that increase melee damage, or use an exotic like Syntheseps, that increased melee damage, you can actually feel it. Titans should be better at melee than the other two classes, since that's what they seem to be limited to, and when you go all in on a melee build on the melee focused class by choosing a melee focused exotic like Syntheseps, by opting for a melee focused aspect on the subclass itself, and exotic weapons that also focus on melee, if you go through all of that trouble, at the very least you should be able to use the build in high-end content. Having a full overshield, an exotic, and an aspect that increases melee damage and still getting out meleeed by a lone knight is insanely ridiculous, especially when your class is geared mostly towards melee. A base damage buff for the Titan class will alleviate so many problems with having a melee focused class. Controlled Demolition. Hitting a target with a void ability or volatile explosion makes them volatile. Further damage to a volatile target causes them to explode. Grants you and nearby allies health when volatile targets explode near you. Now, this upsets me a bit. Controlled Demolition was better before the 3.0 treatment and reinforces an issue that the Titan class has as a whole. Before, there was an ability called Resupply that when you exploded an enemy with void abilities, it does what Controlled Demolition does now, but also the explosions provide ability energy. It wasn't much, but it was something. The fact that was taken away is simply mind-blowing to me. It actually steered the class in a direction where you can be sort of a battlefield commander, hence the name of the subclass tree at the time, Code of the Commander. Being a battlefield commander, a soldier, or tactician is a theme that Bungie needs to lean into more so we aren't stuck with Unga Bunga brain dead crayon eating melee subclasses. On void kills, you used to get health, ability energy to everyone around you. Almost a perfect support class, but boiling it down to just overshields and health is objectively a shit change. I don't know why Bungie seems to be scared to lean more into the soldier or battlefield commander theme for the Titan class. It's weird. They even went so far as to roll back any sort of hints of that theme that we already had, like Inertia Override, which was taken away, Sliding Over Ammo reloads weapons and grants bonus damage, Ruin Wings, which were taken away, which allowed you to find heavy ammo more often, Resupply, which gave your team ability energy, and the list goes on. Yet, they won't hesitate in Lightfall to dress our character up to look like some sort of soldier. It's bizarre, to say the least. Ward of Dawn is a great super, although it's been rendered sort of obsolete by Well of Radiance. The ability to shoot out of Well of Radiance almost overrides everything better about the Ward of Dawn. Coming in Lightfall is getting nerfed. I don't know how I feel about that, we just have to wait and see. But I have the feeling Golden Gun is about to start one-shotting Ward of Dawns, and if so, I'm gonna be pissed. Sentinel Shield is okay. It's a roaming melee super with a shield on it. Surprise, surprise. Fly is a roaming melee super for the Titan class. Quite frankly, it sucks ass. No one really uses the shield for blocking things because why would you when Ward of Dawn does that 10 times better? In the future, I would like there to be some sort of change to Sentinel Shield to make it worth using over literally anything else. All in all, Sentinel Titan is a nice 8 out of 10 to me. Power fantasy is top notch, and surprisingly, Bungie did a great job capturing the frontline wall aspect of the Titan class. However, rolling back parts of the subclass which allowed it to take advantage of another core Titan theme, which is the soldier, and choosing not to expand on it is an L in my opinion. Hopefully in the future they add more aspects to our light subclasses so that they can expand on our characters' themes and powers. This is the first video in a series I'm doing. I'm touching on all the classes but not all the subclasses in the series. I'm mainly focused on subclasses that could be considered controversial in some way or notably very good. The next subclass is and trust me, I have a lot to say about these hippity hoppity motherfuckers. See you in the next one. Peace!